Okay, recording in progress. All right, well, now there's my spiel. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited because I haven't recorded the interviews in so long. So today I'm not alone. I'm joined by Carmen. Hi, say hello.
Hi. Thank you for
There you
inviting
go.
me.
No problem. Yeah, whenever you talk, your face pops off, and whenever you don't talk, my face is on the screen. So we need to kind of
Okay.
share the screen time. Yes, so we were just talking off the screen of before the recording, and I was gonna tell you yesterday I was doing like a little survey on my story, and I asked like who else do you watch? What
Yeah.
other Instagram people do you watch? Your name popped off so many
Oh, really?
times.
I
Yes,
didn't know that. I'm excited.
yes. So I'm like, okay, if you're watching, I have a surprise for you. So that's really cool.
Oh,
So
that's
it's gonna
really
be like
nice.
I think it's gonna be good for people because they will see you too and hear your story a little bit in a
Yeah.
different angle.
Yeah, it's gonna be different because my Instagram account is everything in Spanish because I'm from Venezuela. And right now this is my first interview in English beside the university and all the stuff. But I'm really excited and I a little bit, scared about my English, but I'm gonna enjoy it. That's it.
We all have our accents. This is all for
A
this
really
is a
strong
safe
accent.
space for accents. So no problem. Don't worry about that. Well, I don't know anything about you because your channel is in Spanish. Tell
Yeah,
me more about yourself.
okay. Well, I'm born and raised in Venezuela. I get my dental degree in 2017 and I started working. I opened my own dental office with a partnership. But I don't know if you're aware, but Venezuela is a really beautiful country, but a really complicated political situation. So in that case, I start pursuing my residency in periodontics in Venezuela in 2020, but the pandemic started. So after that, I decided that I want a little bit more because I feel, like a little bit, I don't know, that I wasn't learning that much as I want to learn for my patient of everything. So I have the opportunity to come here to US in 2023. Last year on January, I arrived. So I started looking the whole process to get my license here. At the beginning, it was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. It's a lot of stuff. I started watching your YouTube channel because I learned a lot from the process around you. I was thinking about doing the limited license in Boston, but when you say it's not that easy as everybody think, I say okay, let's do the regular, like the regular pathway. So I start working as a dental assistant in Houston. I arrived in Houston in January 2023, like I say. After that, around, I don't know, March, June, around March, I start, studying for the boards. And I still working at the same time as a dental assistant in a prosthodontics specialized office. Both of my boss are Venezuelan too. And they did the whole process here to get the license. So they were a mentor for me and they really, pushing me to do it. So around June, I say, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I feel like I was drawing. I feel like I couldn't do everything right. It was a lot of work. It was a private office. I don't know if you are aware, you already have your private office, but we don't have like a regular schedule. So we can be a little bit longer if we need it, or we can be a little bit late if we need it for the patients. So sometimes I left the office around 8 or 9 or 10 sometimes. So it was a lot of work. And I was working as a babysitting too and studying. I say, I cannot do this anymore. So I opened the channel, I opened the Instagram account because I feel that I felt really alone in the process. And I say, I'm not the only one who is doing the same thing that I'm doing. I'm not by myself. I know there is a lot of people out there that they are, doing the same and feeling the same way that I'm feeling right now. So that way I opened the Instagram account and everything started, growing out little by little. And in my Instagram, it's just me talking about my journey. And I try to be as positive as I can, because I come from a family that everybody say, if you can dream it, you can do it. Just, go for it.
Mhm. It's so cool. I understand you completely. It's so fun. I actually never talked to, I recorded more interviews that I posted. They just kind of
Yeah.
didn't turn out, but it's so cool to talk to somebody who is a blogger too, who you know the feeling when you're looking up the information, you're like, this feels like an ocean and you're under it. And
Yeah.
there's no way to get out. And you're like, there is no way that I'm the only one. There is no
Yeah.
way I'm sitting here alone. Because when
And
you are
I know
going to
can,
interviews,
yeah, I feel in that moment I was being selfish. Like, I'm not the only one. And we all uh, um, feel the same way, and trying to share the people and trying to bring happiness, and trying to bring the bright side of the pathway, because we all have ups and downs, but I prefer to see always the bright side of the story. And I share everything. For example, I share my problem to get the loan, because I applied to FAFSA, but I didn't receive it. So I applied for private loan. And the first time that when I saw that numbers was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. This is not
I
gonna
know.
be possible. I never see so many numbers together in
Yeah.
one
Is it a phone
paper. It's
number?
like,
What is it? Yeah, it's so
so
bad.
it's crazy.
No, oh my God, I already have so many questions in my head. I can't wait to ask all. Well, you know how there's no information anywhere. Like it feels like there was more and more. Like when I was starting, I was like 6 years ago. There was nothing. I
Yeah.
feel like there was nobody to watch. There was nobody to like even Google. There was like one website. Was it like International Dentist Central or something? And it's so old. Like they keep changing it all the time, especially after COVID. So information is not up to date. So it's so cool. I'm so happy that there are more and more bloggers popping up who can share this story. But do you sometimes feel like whenever I was posting and I would post something positive, right? I was like, oh, I passed my NVDE. I did this and that.
Yeah.
I would feel so like I would feel good because I'm giving inspiration to people, but I would always feel kind of like bad. Am I bragging because so many people didn't pass and I did? And it's kind of a two-edged situation
It's,
because I want to share, but
yeah, I feel the same, because I know that everybody have different realities. And in my case, I feel really lucky and really blessed, because I have a family that support me, that they always say, you can do it. I have a lot of friends that say, you're going to be a billionaire, go for it. And I have my bosses that they are really, they used to pushing me to go for it. And I know that not everybody have the same reality. Not everybody have the support of the family. And I have met a lot of people through Instagram that they share their story with me, and it's like, how you can be with that couple that doesn't support you. I never say that, but it's like, you can do it better, because this is a really hard pathway to take, and it's a really hard decision to take. And if you don't have the support, is really, really, it's going to be complicated for you. And I know I'm not a millionaire. I don't have like the economical support from my family. I support by myself. But I take this phrase from one of my friends, that she said, a millionaire in love, not in money, but in love. I'm so blessed.
yeah, that's a really great way to say it because we're not after that student loans, it's the
Yeah.
opposite. You need to at least have
I'm
something.
really far from being
Yeah.
a billionaire right now.
Yeah, right now it's not great. Yeah, try to buy a practice after all this. That will
Ooh.
be the other bottom of the ocean. Yeah, no.
Oh. I
That's so
always
fun.
say everybody that you have to take it a step by step, because if I going to start thinking about the private practice right now, I'm gonna draw myself. So I prefer to take it step by step. So I I take the IMBDE, I take the TOEFL, and then I'm always doing one goal at a time, because in that way you can see that you are doing a progress, you are progressing in that way. So I feel that if you think in the whole picture, you're gonna cry. But if you see the little pixel, you're gonna be happy with that, and you're gonna enjoy,
Yeah.
the ride.
And it's just life, it's accurate for any field, really,
Yeah.
about marriage, about kids, think about having a child. Everybody has kids eventually. And well, it's something that's in my head because I have a kid. But it's just, you look at it and you think, like, there's no way I can do it. I have to raise a person and I have to take it step by step, day by day, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Same with anything, but dentistry and application process in, as a part of it too, because it looks like it's impossible. It looks
Yeah.
like I'm never going to get in. And I remember those moments when I was like sitting in my tub and I was thinking, I'm never going to apply again. If I don't get in
Yeah.
right now, I'm just not doing it again because I can't take it. And you just keep on going. You just wake up next day and you see how that goes.
That's
And
true.
I feel like somebody needs you were lucky you had the support. I had my husband, I had the support too. Not many people do have
Yeah.
that support. So I feel like it's valuable to at least bring it in some way. I can't
Yeah.
talk to everybody in person, but I talk to as many people as I can,
Yeah.
and giving them some positive information. We're doing something good in the world. So that's
Yeah.
fun.
And I know that this process can affect you in a in your mental health, in your to feel comfortable with you, because you start doubting yourself. You start doubting if you're going to be able to do it. You start doubting if you're going to be a good doctor. You start doubting about your own knowledge and everything. And that's one of the reasons that I opened the Instagram, because like you say, right now there is a lot of information, but the thing is that there is misinformation too. So what I try
Exactly.
to do, every information that I share, I try to give the formal website of, if there is something that you have to Google it and you have to look for it. I don't have all the answers. I did I did a lot of research to know what was the best pathway for me, but not everybody have the same opportunity to, I don't know, to go to a residency. But you can do an advanced standing, or you can do a limited license, or you can do, I don't know, a faculty license. There is so many ways to do it, but you need to know what is the best fit for you.
Exactly. No, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm glad at least somebody's looking up stuff, because I'm like, okay, I read it somewhere. I don't have the link, but trust me. I'm glad there's at least somebody scientific who can send people the link. I can't do that. But
I always
uh,
try to give the people the link, because maybe I understand the wrong way, or maybe I only share what it was good for me, but maybe for you you can read another sentence or another a part of the website, and it's better for you that way. I don't know.
yeah, and everybody's situation is different. Like, same
Yeah.
thing. You mentioned limited license, and I talked about limited license
Yeah.
in my context. Like, for me, it was impossible. I called them all, and I didn't give any links or websites. So, okay, I called them, guys. Trust me,
Yeah.
that's what they said to me. But it wouldn't work for me because I didn't have that experience that they required. I didn't have a residency program, but there are some people who did,
I
so
think so.
they could have done it.
Yeah, I think so. The limited license is a lot about networking too, and being in the right, place, and meet the right people is gonna give you in that kind of, work. But it's good. If you wanna do it, you're gonna Google it. If you wanna, I always say to the people, how much do you want it? How much do you really want it? Because if you don't want it that much, this is going to be so difficult, and you're going to drop everything in the first week. But if you really really want it, you're going to work for it.
Exactly. Even when you get in, like, if you don't really like, you have no, that's what I say. You don't have plan B. Don't have a plan B. If you think about, like, oh, if dentistry doesn't work out, I'm going to do this and that, that's, then you're not fully in it,
Yeah.
because it doesn't end when you get into school. We think it does because we have this one shiny goal. We need to get into
Yeah.
school and then everything is going to be okay. But once you get into school, there is just so much more that is crushing you every day, and you don't have life and you don't have time for anything, but you'll find out soon enough, and not to
I'm gonna
spoil.
call you. I'm gonna call you in 3 years, and we can try
Yeah,
together.
that would be hilarious. No, that would be hilarious, and I can't wait for like the before and after. And you're like sitting there like, why did I do this?
I was thinking, I mean, before we start the record and everything, I was thinking, I'm gonna take a video of myself, the first day of the school, like, really happy, really excited. And I'm gonna see that video every time that I go down. So I
Yeah,
remember what I start this, because I know that I think that I know how it's gonna be, but I know it's gonna be really difficult to be there. But
yeah,
I'm
it
glad
is.
to do
Not gonna lie, it is.
it.
It's gonna be tough. But let's not jump ahead. Let's kind of walk it back a few steps. You're from
Okay.
Venezuela, so tell me a
Yeah.
little bit more about, what did you do? Well, how was the practice in Venezuela? What was your clinical experience? Because it's helpful for
Okay.
people to like everybody asks like, what was your profile? Like, how did you get
Yeah.
in, and what was your
At the big.
experience and stuff?
Yeah, at the beginning, when I started doing the research to do the process here, I was thinking this is only for people that are really that are really smart, people that only have like A's, people that only have GPA of 4, people that only have specialty programs. And I'm not gonna be able to do that because I didn't have anything of that I already just told you. But in my case, like I told you, I graduated in 2017. I worked for 6 years before I came here. I used to have my private practice focus more in pediatric patients because I really like it. Adult patients too. And I started the resident program in periodontics because at that moment in my country, prosthodontics, you are not able to put implants. That's the difference between Venezuela and US. One of the difference. And I don't have a GPA of 4. I don't take a TOEFL, and I get 120. And I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a citizen or a resident, because that's another, that everybody
Yeah.
think that you have to be a citizen or resident to start this process. And I just a regular dentist from Venezuela that really want to be here in US, that really want the best for my family. So in that way, I want to be better for my patient. I want to be able to help my family in Venezuela. And I'm really glad to share, all this pathway at the same time. But I feel that everybody at the beginning think that is impossible. And I trust you. I feel the same. But you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the entire main message of everything we do here. Anybody really can do it. I've seen people get in with like 2 point something GPA,
Yeah.
like not even 3. So there are requirements that school want you to have,
Yeah.
but those requirements, they're always not that they're bendable, that's probably not the right word, but there's always something that you have that you can
Yeah.
overcompensate something that
I,
you don't.
I feel that every program try to look at different profile. Not everybody have the same profile. So not every program is gonna want you. And in my case, talking about the background, I used to work a lot with no-profit foundation because I really like it. That's something that in my university we always did. For the my university is a 5 years degree, and I started the periodontics program in 2020, but at the end of 2022 we didn't finish yet. It's supposed to be a 2 years program, and we already have 2 years and we didn't have any graduation, date. It was a
Mhm.
really good program, but the whole country situation, the whole pandemic situation make a little bit, behind the program, and everything get delayed. So right now in 2024, almost 2 years after I left, my colleagues they're gonna graduate this December in 2024. So a program that used to be 2 years, right now it's a program of 4 years. So for me, it was a really difficult, decision to take, because when you are in a residency program, you make your colleagues your family. And for me, we were only 6, 5 girls and 1 boy. And for me, it was like, for the first day, since the first day, I always say, this is like a marriage. We're gonna be together. Nobody's gonna go. We're gonna work. And the first that I left was me, the only one, because 5 of them, they are still there and they're gonna get the diploma on December 2024. And I'm really happy for them. But for me, I felt like I need something else. I need something different. So I don't think so is a easy answer or a easy pathway. If you want to stay in your country, that's up to you. It's really a good decision. If you want to come here, it's a really good decision too. But you have, your pros and contras, whatever you want to take.
Exactly. No, I do hear from people sometimes who have amazing careers in their countries, and their countries are not bad either. Like politically talking. A few years ago, somebody from Israel wrote to me, and back then Israel was not in the war or anything. And they were talking that they had multiple practices, they had private offices that they ran by themselves, and they just want to feel better, and they're going to the US. And I kind of was feeling like I was talking them out of it, even though probably I shouldn't have done that because it's their decision. But I felt like I really needed to bring the understanding that it's a process, and you will have to take a few steps back into your quality of life, into the job that you're used to. It's specifically hard. Well, that's actually a good question for you. How did it feel for you? Because you did have some experience. Well, you had a lot of experience. I had no experience. So for me, working as a dental assistant, that was totally fine. But for you, you had so much, experience back in your home country. How did it feel for you to go back to assisting?
Well, you say a lot, but I didn't feel like that. No, I have 6 years of experience. I was a general dentist, and I really like it. I feel really blessed for all the patients that I have. And I used to have an Instagram account for my dental office too in that moment. But come here at the beginning, I felt like, what I'm doing, why I'm doing this, because when you are assisting, you are all the time question why the doctor is doing that. Or if I were in that position, I will do it in another direction. It doesn't say like they are doing wrong. I will do it in a different way. But at the beginning, I was like, I don't know, maybe mad, because I felt that I left everything for working as a dental assistant. That is, at the beginning, I think that, oh, it's a dental assistant job, it's going to be really easy. No, not at all. It's a really hard work. It's a really, mentally and physical demand that you have to be in front of the patient, in front of the doctor, what he's going to think, what he's going to do it. And the office that I used to work, it was a small office with 5 chairs. But in Venezuela, we don't work that way. This is really the American way to do it. It was hard at the beginning, but then I say, if I'm gonna take it this, if I'm gonna still think it that way, it's not gonna work for me. So I decided that, let's change the mindset and let's try to learn as much as I can. So after a couple weeks, because it was the first weeks, I say, okay, what I can learn from this experience, and my mind changed, and I really started enjoying the process, and really started enjoying going in the office. All the staff, they are the best. Everybody support me. Like, if you have to go early and you have to study or whatever, go. If you have to do this or whatever, I have your back or whatever. We always work together. I think so that the doctor let me try to figure it out what I want to do. Because at the beginning, like I told you, I was doing periodontics, but working in a prosthodontic office with all this technology, because this office has everything like CEREC, iTero, right face. We did surgical guide and everything. I learned from them a lot of stuff that I didn't know because we didn't have the opportunity to have that in Venezuela, like the digital process and everything in the university. There is some private office that have it, but in the university, we didn't have the opportunity, to do a surgical guide, to scan or whatever. To be able to work with everything in the office for me was a bless. And I feel, I'm gonna learn because this is gonna work for me. It's gonna help me in my university program when I will be in the university again. So I try to enjoy as much as I can, but yeah, at the beginning it was really hard.
Yeah, I feel like I had a similar experience, but for me, it was easier because I didn't have any experience in my home country. I was a fresh grad, and I came in and I was like, I know this. I would have done it differently, even though I didn't know anything. And now I know that I didn't know anything back then. But I feel like when you were a dentalist, my office was also very technologically advanced, and I still use those skills because
Yeah,
dental assistant is the person who is interacting with all that
yeah.
technology the most. Because the
Mhm.
doctor is not going to sit there and print or mill or whatever. They're not doing any of that. But that experience helped me so much in school and now in real life as well. Well, in real life, in practice as well. I still use the skills that I learned as a dental assistant. So there is something valuable in it too. And it does feel like you're taking a few steps back, but you're gaining
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
as
yeah.
well that is
I didn't
relevant for your field.
Yeah, I didn't saw like a step back just at the beginning because if you're gonna see it, there is a lot of people that work for as a dental assistant for several years. And if you hate your job, you're not gonna be happy. Try to change it, trying to do something different, try to go to a different office because at the end of the day, you spend with these people and in this job 8 hours, 6 hours a day is a lot, and you need to enjoy it. So that's the difference. I think so that I try to see always, the glass half full nor
Hmm.
half empty. So I try to do that with everything in my life. So that way I can enjoy it.
There you go. That's a great approach. Well, tell a little bit more about your application. Let's kind of start with the end. You got into school and you're starting your program tomorrow, as much as I know.
I'm gonna start tomorrow, yeah, July 1st. I was accepted in a residency program as in a prosthodontic residency program in Nova University in Florida. I'm really glad. It was like I was telling you off record that I think so that all the stars align. All my prayer was, listen, my mom prayers, my family prayers, and everything, everything aligned to be in the right moment in the right place and put all the effort that I did because for me 2023 it was a really hard year because I spent a lot of time working in my application without knowing at the beginning because I was studying. I went to conference, I take several courses, uh, and I was working at the same time. So for me, 2023 was really hard year because I focused so much in my process that at the end it went well. But if you ask me for the whole 2023, I didn't know anything about Houston. I started knowing Houston after in 2024 when I was accepted.
Mhm.
And I think
It's
so
a
that
full-time
everybody
job.
needs to, sorry?
It's a full-time job. I know.
Yeah, it's a
You can't
full-time
leave the
job.
application.
Yeah, and you have to want it, really, really want it to work for it. But yeah.
That's true. Well, so why did you decide to apply to residency programs? Or you just applied everywhere and just kind of saw where it went?
Well, in my case, I didn't want to do an advanced sending program. I have family in Houston, so I want to come back to Houston to work there. So for me, it was my stay wasn't a limitation in my future. So I say, well, if Texas, I can do a residency program and work here, let's do it. Because at the end, I feel that I'm the kind of people that always finish the book. And with the residency program in Venezuela, I didn't finish it. So it was for
Mhm.
me, I want to have a residency program. I want to have a residency degree. So I was thinking to do periodontics, but I don't know all the knowledge about periodontics, but I have a good basis because I already, did 2 years of periodontics. So, but I didn't know how to wear a crown. I didn't know how to wear, the prosthodontic part of all on 4 or all on 5. And right now, working in that office, I say, okay, why you don't think about prosthodontics as a future? And like I told you, in prosthodontics in US, you can put implants. So I already know a little bit about the implants, a little bit about the periodontics, but I don't know anything, not anything, but I don't know that much about the prosthodontic part. So for me, the right choice was to do the prosthodontics program. So that's what I get. That's what I applied for prosthodontics.
So you particularly applied to prosthodontics programs only. You didn't apply kind of wide. You just picked one.
No.
Okay, so
I was
what would
really
you say?
focusing what I want.
Okay, that's good. I like that. You focus on what and you got that. And how long did it take you to like go through this entire process?
Well, I arrived in January. I started the process around March, maybe. And I get my answer on January of 2024. So it was like 11, 10 months, something like that.
Okay, so
The
you got
whole
in from the
process.
first cycle, basically. You did everything
Yeah,
right and you got in from the first cycle.
I
Okay,
get
cool.
in the first cycle. Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
That's really
Thank you.
tough
Thank
to
you.
get into. So what would you think was like the hardest part, right? So what is the specifics of prosthodontics? Is there
I think
anything that's
so.
distinctive to the field?
I think so that, like, for me choosing prosthodontic or for applying for prosthodontics?
Proper into prosthodontics. Like, is there
Okay.
anything that you have to write in your personal statement, or there any differences that they're looking for based on your experience, for example?
I think so that the prosthodontics programs from university to another university are really different in some way. For example, Nova University, my university, is really technologic. They have a lot of technology. So in my personal statement, I explain that I work in a technology dental office, that right now I know to do surgical guide, right now I know to do design on digital and everything. But there is another program, they don't have too much digital right now. So if you talk in the personal assignment about digital, what you want to apply in a program that doesn't have that, equipment. So I think so that you have to know a lot about the program and know how to sell yourself in the best way. Because also, for me as a foreign dentist, we don't do this in Venezuela. We don't used to sell ourselves to trying to get into a residency program. Yes, I have an interview, I have tests, I have everything, but we didn't have like an essay to write why you want to get in.
Mm-hmm. I think it's everywhere like that. I feel like it's specific to, well, I'm not gonna like do blanket statement, but majority of people who I've talked to, they don't have that in their home countries.
No.
And it's just kind of like, hello, it's me, it's you, you want to take me? It's kind of like a trade program. That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
You literally just go in and you give them your diploma in Russia, and
Yeah.
that's it. And they don't care. They just look at your grades. They have never seen your face. They don't care who you are. As long as your grades are higher than the rest of them, you are
Okay.
accepted. So it's a little bit more it's difficult, and it's definitely a skill to sell yourself,
Yeah.
really. And it's not like you're selling yourself particularly. Yes, I'm trying to form my thought, but it's not just kind of the ability to sell yourself, it's the ability to sell yourself to a right person. For example,
That's
if you were
true.
going to that, like, to the programs that doesn't have that technology, and you were trying to sell yourself on the technology, they would be like, well, I'm not buying that. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
So it's really important to know where you're applying to know
Yeah.
why you want to go to that program. It's
And
really,
And I think so right
yeah,
now
go ahead.
there is there is a lot of information that like I told you, that right now you have the ability to know more about the program that the program is going to know about you. So in the interview process or the application process, the applicant have everything to win because you know more about them than about you. So you have to take that advantage and to try to sell the best way that you can, that they want to buy you in that way, that they
Yeah.
want you in the program.
Yeah, it's not lying, basically. It's just adapting your story in a way that university would want to buy it. So, like, if you were, again, just this is kind of a blanket comparison, but if you were applying to that, like, not so technological school,
Yeah,
you would have pushed on the fact that you are from Venezuela and you didn't have that technology and you
that's
know
true.
exactly what to do with your hands and
Yeah,
how to do it the old-fashioned way. So it's both parts of your personality are true, but you would
yeah.
pick and choose one to go to a particular school.
No, I always say that you don't talk the same way that you talk with the patient, that the same way that you talk with another dentist. You don't use the same words. So you are not lying or anything, but you are talking in a different way. So that's the way that I think the application work. It's not that you are lying, it's that you are talking in a different person from a different point of view.
Exactly, exactly. And also just prosthodontic wise, some schools would have technology, some schools would have a focus in one kind of technology. For example, like some schools will have CEREC, but another schools don't like CEREC and they would like
Yeah,
print rather than mill. And you
yeah,
have to point yourself, you know what, milling is the best thing in the world because you want to seem like you're going to fit. And you are going to fit. Eventually you're going to start loving milling instead of
yeah,
printing because they will teach you how to do it and you will know more about it and it's going to work out. But in this
yeah,
beginning process, it's very important to find the connection between you and the
yeah.
school, I feel like.
That's true. That's true. And it is a lot of people in the application process forget to do that step. So
Yes.
sometimes I talk with some girls on the Instagram and they say, I want to apply for this school. And I say, okay, why? I don't know. My friend get in. So
Because I
what
think it's
else?
easy. Do they accept us
Yeah, yeah,
easily?
yeah,
It's not that. That's what I was talking about recently. I was making like a reel or something, and I was thinking that what to me was ridiculous when COVID happened, they canceled all the interviews, right? That's understandable. But when the COVID stopped, they didn't bring them in. So they think the schools, we're so great. You just want to come here, right? But
yeah,
they don't think that what if I want to see the school and I want to choose if the school
yeah,
is good enough for me? I have to take your word for it because I'm only meeting you on Zoom. And I feel like that's the mentality of the schools, right? We're so great and it's a privilege for you to go to our school. And I feel like the dentists do the same thing. They think, I want to get in anywhere. I just want it to be done. I
mhm,
don't care. But we forget that at the end of the day, we're picking and choosing where we want
yeah.
to study too. We don't want to go to the school and be miserable there because it's not a right fit.
That's true. That's really true because you're not gonna spend like a week there. You're gonna spend at least 2 years, at least. In my case, they're gonna spend 3 years because it's a residency program in prosthodontics. But if you don't feel happy about the university, and that's what I always say to the people, go to know the university, ask for a tour, ask for a shadowing, ask to know the program director, go and know the university. The first time that I came here to the university, I did the tour, and I was at the beginning I was happy, but at the end it was like, oh my God, I saw myself here. I can feel that I belong here. I really like the program. I really like the faculties. I really like the whole experience. And at the beginning, I was like, okay, it's a nice program. That's it. That's all that I know from the
Mm-hmm.
website. They have a lot of technology. Okay, that's good. But when I went to the university and I saw it and I live it, it was like, oh my God, this is my university. This is my program, and I really want to be here. So I think so that
Exactly.
everybody have to do it if they can.
If they can, but that's my kind of beef. Especially, the whole conversation started from NYU because NYU itself, it's not just the school, it's the city of New York. That's no
Mm.
like not like any other city. And they don't have interviews. They don't even invite you. They have a Zoom interview still to this day.
Yeah,
And you think that I will just like take you? What if I get accepted and go and it will be a horrible fit? How's it good for
Because
anybody?
and it's a really hard, you know, city to live. Not everybody like in New York. I like New York to travel and to eat,
Yeah.
and that's it. But I don't see myself living in New York. But a lot of people think in another way, and that's good too.
Yeah, but that's the point. Well, the point of the conversation is even if it doesn't feel like you're the one who's choosing the program at the time,
Yeah,
because I'm sure many people who are watching this are going to be like, yeah, it's easy for you to say because you guys already got in. So now what?
yeah,
I just want to get in anywhere. But it's really in the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword.
yeah.
Both
They
people
choose
pick and
you, and
choose.
you choose the university too.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to you to talking about you. What would you think was like what was challenging for you? What was the hard part about application? What did you not like the most? So terrible. But what was the worst
Okay,
part?
I think so that the whole application process is really difficult because you don't have like a perfect recipe. Because when you start talking, in my case, I start talking with all the residencies of different programs that I want to go in, and I was asking about the profile of every single resident, and they have so different profiles that I was like, I don't know what the program director is looking for. So I
Mm.
think so that some people they're really good and they have like, I don't know, like 1,000 hours of volunteers, and other people have like 10 years of experience, and other people have like a specialty degree before applying, and you don't have, you know, like there. I feel that the process make you feel that you are not worth it, that you are not good enough. That I think is the hard part for me of the whole perfect process, to feel that I was good enough for the program, that I was good enough to apply and good enough to get in the program. I think so that's the hard part for me.
Yeah, but that's true. And it's definitely everyone like this. I was talking to this guy. He's so cool. Well, I was talking to this guy and he had a 4.0 GPA. He was
Okay.
the top of his class, but he was so shy and so tiny. And he would describe himself as this like, oh yeah, it was really hard studying and it was like, blah, blah. He would make himself so small because he also with 4.0 GPA he could take a pick of his school and he still felt like he wasn't worthy. So it's not
Yeah.
like people sitting there with like 3.2 and they think there's no way I'm going to get in. People sit there with 4.0 and they think, okay, there's no way I'm going to get in. It's just everyone is like this. And we just have to accept, I feel like, that it just feels terrible. Like
Yeah.
this is a psychological warfare on yourself.
Yeah,
Just
that's
accept
true.
it and move on. That's
Yeah, it's really
that's a good
true. I think
insight.
so that the whole process, you know, drained you. It's like, and you have to, for example, for me, at the beginning, I stopped doing exercise. I love to do exercise. Not just, you know, for me, it's like therapy. To go to do exercise, for me, it made me feel really, you know, relief. And in the process, at the beginning, when I was studying, I say, you know, this is taking me too much time. So I prefer to stop doing exercise and just focus, you know, to study, and it felt even worse. And I say, okay, this is not working. I have to retake the exercise again. But at the beginning, you don't see it. Like you need to believe in yourself. I believe in myself, but every time, every step that I took is like, this is enough. If, for example, is I take a flight to get on a conference, is gonna be enough? If I do, I don't know, volunteers hours, it's like, this is gonna be enough. Every time that I did something, it's like, I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
And it never will be. That's the point. There's not going to be something that you do and you'll be like, now I'm complete. Now my application's perfect. I'm definitely going to get in. There's just
I
not there's no conference of course to take to be done with
Yeah.
it.
What what helped me in the process, at least in the interview process, after, it was like, I feel confident about myself. I was like, if they call me, it's because they are seeing something in me. So let's try to bright, let's try to be nice as I can. Let's try to, be a good dentist in the whole interview process. And in that moment, I really felt, when I left the building after the interview, was like, I did the best I can. That's it. I feel like full of energy because I did the best I can. That's it. It's their choice at that moment. I cannot do
Yeah,
anything more.
that's so true. No, but that's the point, right? You just have to be yourself. For example, like that guy who had the 4.0 GPA, he's not gonna like he didn't get in, but that's because I'm so amazing. I helped him, but that's not the point. But when he got in, he learned to present himself. So, for example, if he would go to the interview with this attitude of I'm so small, I'm so tiny, I don't know, well, you don't need to take me. I'm sorry that I even bother you with my presence here. He wouldn't get in, even with all this amazing stuff that he has in his profile. He still wouldn't make it because he didn't present himself in a way that confidently proves that already is written on paper. But if you show up, like if I show up there with no experience, with like 3.2 GPA, it's like, you know what? I'm the best. I
Yeah.
am the gift of God. I will get in, and it doesn't matter what achievements both of us have. So it's important to remember too, if you feel down about yourself and your application, forget about your application, forget about your
Yeah.
profile. Just bring this internally into yourself that you deserve to get in, and be ready to tell the admissions committee that this is why.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have the best GPA, but I am this personality of mine is going to bring it all up.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
yeah, and
That's
this is
really
just kind of
true.
how dentistry
I
is.
think so, I think so. It's a lot about attitude in the whole process, not just the interview, just not it's about the attitude. I try to talk by my. I always say, try to talk to you as you talk to your dog or to your daughter, because you don't say, "Oh, you're so dumb. Why you throw away the water glass or whatever." No, you say, "Oh, so sorry that happened. Pick it up." That's it. So it's the same way that you have to talk to you. When I was studying for the board, it was like, okay, I didn't get the score, but I only have, I don't know, 1 month study. So let's try again next month. So that's I did to myself every single day, and I try to visualize everything, because one time I love to hear podcasts. One time I hear a podcast about Michael Phelps, the Olympics, the swimming guy, and he said that he used to visualize every single step, not step, like the hand in the water when he was. So right now I visualize everything. The moment I put the IMBD, date, I visualize how I want to dress. The moment I send my application to NOVA, I visualize myself how I'm going to dress that day, how I'm going to look, what I'm going to eat before, what I'm going to do. I always visualize myself before doing anything. Because that helped me to go for it. I don't know if that is going to help anybody, but for me, visualization is really important, and talk to you in a really good way is really important. And this is not me saying, it's a lot of information, scientific, saying that most of the achievement that you do in your life is because you believe it before, and because you remember, and because you tell yourself every single day that you can do it. If you believe that you can do it, it doesn't matter that you have like your whole family support, that you have the whole staff on the office supporting you, because if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't worth it.
Yeah, and that's actually a really great idea, because I think I do it a little bit differently, but in a similar like scenario. Because what I say when you like prepare for the interview, right? I always recommend people to say it out loud, because the more you say it, the more you believe it's actually true. Because
Yeah.
if it's the same way, so you basically kind of visualize yourself in the story that you're presenting. the more
Yeah.
you say it out loud, the more you make yourself believe that this is actually what happened, or this is actually what's going to happen. I am going to get in, and you see yourself getting in, you start believing that it's true. And that's how you bring up the confidence, because why wouldn't I be confident? I know it's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really good, like, exercise to do for yourself. And it
Yeah.
for any part of application, just like the interview or just when you apply to schools, you see yourself basically be invited.
Yeah.
That's a great advice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned about FAFSA. Tell me more about. I know nothing about loans and stuff. Tell me about loans. How that works.
This is gonna take like 2 hours video. No, I'm gonna do a little resume about that, a little, package. So you have like two different loans, the private loans and the state loans. To apply for the state loan, you have to be a citizen or a resident. In my case, I'm not a citizen and not a resident, but you can apply if you are in asylum, refugee,
Mhm.
or if you are in parole. That's the one that I have. But you have to be here in US at least for 12 months consecutive, that I have. But you have to have an approved that you are pursuing a residency, a permanent residence here in US. In my case, as a Venezuelan, I cannot apply for the green card after the first year. I have to apply for the green card after 5 years. So I applied for FAFSA. FAFSA is just a lot of questions, a survey, I think is the name in English, that is going to tell you if you need financial help or if you don't need financial help. So it means that if you are poor or you are not poor, that's it. So with that evaluation, the state say, okay, I'm going to help you with a loan, and you're going to have better interest, a lower interest, and in the future, you can apply for a forgiveness of that loan. But I applied, but I didn't have the green card, form.
Application. Like,
Application for that. So they say, hey, I know you have financial need, but we cannot help you. That's what I happened. So then I applied for the private loan. There is so many companies to apply for the private loan. I applied first for, can I say the name here? Oh, I cannot say it.
sure.
Okay. I applied for
I'm not
Sallie
going to stop
Mae.
you.
Okay. I applied for Sallie Mae and they give me 12% of a interest rate. That it was really high. And I applied to College Avenue and they give me 8%. So at the end, I went to College Avenue. What's happening is that you have an amount that is the cost of attendance of the university. For example, my university, the tuition is $100,000. Yeah. And the $36,000 is about living expenses. So I asked for a loan of $136,000 in Sallie Mae, and they give me a 12%. At the end, if I pay that loan in 20 years, they give you 20 years to pay, I will be paying $520,000. That's just for the first year. So in that moment, my heart just, stopped for a second because I was thinking, oh my God, when I graduate, I'm going to be, if I pay in 20 years, I'm going to be on it like $1.5 million. And it was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. So I say, okay, let's take it little by little. Let's take the first year and then we're going to figure it out in the moment. Right now, I'm waiting to see the money in my account because I don't know if you did the same, but in the university, usually you have an account and all the money go to the account, your account in the university take the tuition, and then they give you the other money that you're gonna use for transportation, housing, food, and whatever you need. So it's a lot
No,
of
that's
money.
really helpful. It's a lot of money, but that's what I don't know why, but So I posted a reel on Instagram, and it gotten popular, and I didn't expect it to get popular. And it was kind of like an inspirational reel. And I said, like, apply to schools. Don't be worried. You will pay out the loan. Everything is going to be
Yeah.
okay. And so many American dentists, they're not have no relation to foreign trained dentists at all. So they're American dentists. First of all, they yelled at me for the program being 2 years. I said the program was just 2 years. You can survive it. And they're like, it's actually 8, but it's not for you. But
Uh,
anyway, so they just get so much hate to that one reel. And basically, they're saying there's so much student loans, you're never going to afford it. Why do you tell people
no,
to
no,
go
no,
to
no.
programs? And that's American dentists, right? From
Yeah,
people who were brought up here. So they don't have another option. It's not like they had a choice to stay in their country or come to
yeah,
America, and they chose to come to America. They were born here. So they have so much complaints about the student loans. But when it comes to foreign trained dentists, and we know the alternative. So the alternative is like not making any money ever. There is
no,
not that you're going to make a lot of money, but you have to give a lot of that to a loan. That's
yeah,
like you're just not going to make money, and you have to accept it. And that, at least it's how it is in Russia. And I don't know the same in Venezuela, but in Russia, if you work in like a government clinic, not in
mhm,
Moscow, like not in the capital city, you're just not going to make money. Doctors make pennies. So
yeah,
when it comes to like when I get to compare, okay, do I make a lot of money here, but also I'm going to spend a lot to make
yeah,
that money and have that opportunity. There I don't have the opportunity. So it all
yeah,
like I choose this
yeah.
as
It's
the alternative.
what I did when I saw all these crazy numbers. I talked with different doctors that I work, and I talked with one of a periodontist that she's a Venezuela too. She worked in Houston. I met her, and she went to UPenn. The UPenn, is a Ivy League university, and it's really expensive. And she has 2 years of 1 year of graduate right now, and she already paid 30% of the loan. And she said, you can do it. Don't worry, it's going to be a lot, but as soon as you can pay it, less you're going to pay, because everything is about the interest rate. So she already, with 1 year, she paid 30% of the loan. So I say, okay, it's not that bad if I keep paying
Yeah,
30% in 1 year and the other 30% in the second year. So the average, because I Google it, of the paying the loan is between 5 to 10 years. It depends. That's for Americans, but we're gonna have lower, um, money to pay. The loan for us is gonna be less than for Americans. So I think so we're gonna be able to pay it about 5 years, something like that. But it's gonna depend on what you want, because FAFSA, the interest is a little bit lower, so you don't have to pay it right away. So the people with FAFSA, it take a little bit longer to pay it. But for me, for private loan, I have to pay it as fast as I can. The good news is I don't have to pay it right away. I have a waiver of 9 months to, settle down, find a job and everything. And then after nine months to finish my school, I'm going to start paying the loan.
exactly. And I feel like it's a big problem for people who are not residents, because if they're, for
Mhm.
example, applying with a visa and they
Yeah.
get this loan, so it's all or nothing situation. I have to find a job in America, so
Yeah.
I'm able to pay this loan off, because if I go back to my country, there's no way I'm ever going to pay it back.
Yeah.
So
That's
there is that time, the grace period to find a job afterwards and start
Yeah,
paying.
that's why a lot of loans ask you for a cosigner. That has to be an American citizen, because if I don't pay, they're gonna go after the cosigner, because the cosigner is a citizen. I'm not a citizen, so I can leave the country, and forget about the money, but they're gonna go after the cosigner. But I know that not everybody have the possibility to have a cosigner. In my case, I have a cosigner, but if you don't have it, you can apply to different loans that you don't ask for a cosigner. The bad things is that you're gonna have higher interest rate, because you are more like a threat for the people that is gonna offer you the money, because you are not a residency. you are a resident and you don't have a cosigner. So who is gonna, pay me if you are not here? So that way they put you a higher interest. But there is a lot of different company, a lot. And the other options that you can use that right now I'm working on that is to apply for several scholarships. So right now I'm looking everything, I'm doing my research to try to apply to some scholarship. I know that they're gonna have the money to pay the whole year tuition, but at least is I can pay a little bit with the scholarships that I'm applying right now, is gonna be a good option.
Yeah.
And
No, that gotta find anything you can.
yeah. And
Well,
at the
that's
same
also
time, sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. It's a
Okay.
really interesting conversation.
And at the same time, with the Instagram, I start doing the mentorship process that you are doing too. I'm helping the people, to know about the right pilot to do, and helping the people with the interview process, and helping the people with the application process, and to know how to look the right information of every single program, so that way you can know more about the program when you apply. So that's an extra
Exactly.
money that I have there too.
Yeah. No, it's good that's how I lived during my college, during my dental school, because my husband went to law school at the same time, which was a terrible
Wow.
idea because none of us worked.
Yeah.
So somebody had to do the money. And that's when I started like actually paying attention to my Instagram rather than it's like, oh, it's a fun hobby. It's like, okay, I need to pay for my things because I didn't have a loan. That's why I'm asking so much about the loan. I don't have any information. I paid out of pocket. Like I saved the money and I paid out of pocket. But I went
Wow.
to BU. BU is cheap-ish. Like it's
Yeah.
relatively cheap. So it's manageable. So I don't have that. People ask me about the loan. And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea how to do that. So, but it's actually better in a way with the loan because they do give you that money to actually live on. When you pay out of pocket, all of your money that you ever had is going
Yeah.
to that one spot, and there's nothing left
Yeah.
to live on. So it's not, wouldn't recommend to most people, but it's a good thing to do because you want somebody to teach you how to do things. Like you want
Yeah.
somebody to walk you through this process because you only have one brain and you only have one amount
And
of nerve cells in it that you don't want to waste on things that could
no, and there is
easily
a
be
lot of
avoided.
misinformation. There is a lot of people that come to me, is like, okay, doctor, I already have the IMBD and the TOEFL. I'm a dental assistant. It's like, what else? No, that's it.
Yeah,
Everybody have the board, everybody have the TOEFL is the minimum requirement, and everybody, not everybody, but most of the people is a dental assistant. So what different you? What make you special? What other things have you been working for you and for your CV to come here and apply tomorrow? Because most of the people that come to me, they are Latino like me because they speak
mm-hmm.
Spanish, and most of the people is like, I want to apply tomorrow. It's like, sorry, but your profile is not a strong profile. And it's really hard to people to hear that. Some people, I think, so you know, they don't take it too well, but I prefer that you apply with a strong application just for one cycle, that you apply several cycles, and you feel the rejection, you feel bad by yourself, and you start doubting in yourself, because every rejection letter is going to affect you. But it's not because you are not good enough, it's because you are not prepared enough to apply in that cycle.
Exactly. And it's so true. But sometimes people, that's the opposite side of what I usually see. It's either people are underprepared and they're like, okay, my TOEFL score, my TOEFL score is 105 points, right? And they think the TOEFL score decides anything. TOEFL score is like
No,
pass fail. Like as long as you speak English, you're fine. But they think like my TOEFL score is so good, I'm gonna apply. But then you look at them and they're like, okay, you can't apply this cycle. How about we try for another cycle? We're gonna work on your personal
yeah,
statement and stuff like that. But another kind of people who come, they're like, okay, I'm not good. I have everything, but I'm not gonna apply now. I'm gonna apply to MPH.
Yeah.
I'm gonna apply to, hygiene school. I'm gonna graduate the school because again, they don't have
No.
that confidence and they're
Yeah.
making their student loans higher because they do have
Yeah.
to pay for MPH as well. And they're making their road longer because they just
Yeah.
add years for things that you don't need. To
Yeah.
me, it's ridiculous. You need to find a perfect middle and be like
Yeah.
adequate about your chances.
Yeah. And I think so it's about the imposter syndrome that you
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
that when you don't believe in yourself, there is a lot of people that go through that. I think so that when I get accepted, that was not the first, but a couple of things that I have. It was like, they take me. I don't think so I'm prepared. I don't
Right?
think so
That's
they
what
were
I
they
said.
were enough that and you start doubting yourself. If they took you, what are you talking about?
No, that was me. That was so me. When I received a first invitation to the interview, I said it was from OU, and all I could say is like, they want to talk to me. Are you sure? Really, are they 100% certain? I was like waiting for it to be like, oh, I'm sorry, we sent this email by mistake. Because it was so surreal that it's just like, poor old me. Really? There's so many great applicants and you want to talk to me. It's always like this. No matter
Yeah,
how amazing you are, I feel like everybody feels the same way.
that's
But
true.
it's important to have this like check back. So you guys, whoever watching this, if you're doubting yourself, talk to us. You know where to
Yeah,
find us. We're gonna put
come.
Instagram links everywhere. So you know where to find, so we'll boost your confidence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. This was
No,
so
thank
fun. It was like a relief for myself because
you.
you even now that with blogging and with Instagram and stuff, you're kind of alone there too because you're in this own puddle of your own audience who you talk
Yeah.
to. But it's nice to kind of reach out to the other puddle and talk to other
Yeah,
people who
and
do the same
it
thing.
was I really like it, and I really like to, try to go to most of the people that they are doubting yourself and say, hey, I did it, you can do it, go for it. And a lot of not a lot, but a few people text me like, can you do it in English, because you look really happy with everything. And I say like, for me to do it in English is another work, because I have, translate everything and to take the videos in English and everything. And for me, it's really easy to speak in Spanish, and that's it, and the public, and that's it. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank you for sharing all your pathway in YouTube. You don't know how many people you have been helping, even me, that I told you that I saw your videos. And thank you for doing this to bring like real people with real problems, with really doubting in yourself and everything that already accomplished. And not in a way to, to brag, in a way to, to inspire more people, because us as a foreign dentist, we have so many things to offer to this amazing country, and we're gonna do
Yay! That's a
it.
wonderful way to end the video. Thank you so much for coming. It was absolutely pleasure talking to you and everybody who's watching the world of internet. Please go and say thank you to Carmen at My Dental Road on Instagram. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Have a great day. Goodbye. Good luck at your program. I hope
Thank
you
you.
are not terrified of it, and I hope it doesn't crush your soul. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.